What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Coach Black, your internet, relationship, and breakup coach. Today's topic: 4 uncomfortable reasons why many people do not get their ex back. Before we get started, I want to say thank you for tuning in and for watching another video. You could have been doing anything, but you chose to spend a few moments with me, and let me just say, I appreciate you for sticking around. I know you're going through a lot, so hang in there. Watch this video so you don't make some of these mistakes that we're going to go over. Let's just jump into it. Reason number 1 is fear. Your fear of losing your ex completely from your life is a lot of times what causes you to do things that actually leads to the end of the relationship permanently. See, as human beings, one thing that we crave and that we need a lot of times is certainty. Just our need to know how things are going to pan out in the future. And if you've been broken up with, there's no worse feeling than thinking that you'll never hear from your ex again. They'll never talk to you. A lot of times the silence from them can be deafening. And if you got into no contact hoping that you'll see a change in their behavior quickly, sometimes you'll be in for a rude awakening. And so when you lack that certainty and you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and you start to get fearful, a lot of times that fear causes your mind to go to work to figure out solutions. How can I alleviate this pain? How can I get rid of this fear? Then your mind starts to tell you, well, send them a text message. Maybe if you can just convey to them how you feel and all of the things that you've been working on and how much you've changed. Maybe if you can express those things properly, they will come back to you. A lot of times that will numb the pain for the moment. It'll make you feel better because you feel like you're taking action towards the resolution of the relationship. But in a lot of ways, you're just pushing your ex away permanently. Here's why. See, usually attraction between two people lies on a spectrum. Let's say 0 to 100%. And for someone to have the motivation to stay in a relationship, their attraction will typically be above 50%. And when things are great, passionate, exciting, they're closer to 80, 90, 95%. It's a very high attraction. This is when the intimacy is great, the dates, you're laughing all the time. And I'm sure you can picture right now in this moment, times in your relationship when your ex was passionate about you. But what happens over time, life gets in the way, you change, you stop keeping your promises, you make mistakes, you're rude, or you do something to hurt their feelings. Well, attraction starts to dip. And once it goes below that 50% mark and works its way down to 0, they get to a point where there's no more incentive for them to stay in the relationship. Think about if you had a job or a career that you loved, you actually enjoyed the work at some point. And over time, not only do they kind of change the scope or the job description to where the job is a lot more difficult or just different from your interests, also they take away the salary, the health care. So all of your benefits are gone just like that. Before long, even though this was a job that you once wanted and you were once excited about, at one point, before long, you would lose the motivation, you would lose the desire to stay at that job in that company. And it does not matter what your boss says. It doesn't matter even if the CEO comes and has a conversation with you. Your motivation and your desire is gone and you're going to leave. Now, the mistake is when you're fearful and you're doing all these things to try to fix the relationship, especially at a time when your ex has no motivation and no interest, you make them more certain about their decision. I like to say you strengthen their I don't like you muscle. Because right now, a lot of what your ex thinks about you is negative. But if you allowed them some time and space to miss you, they can start to reflect and dig deep into their memory bank and at least remember good times in the relationship. You put some space and some distance between you and all of the mistakes and all the things where you dropped the ball. But again, when in their current perspective of you is negative, and then you combine that by not respecting their decision, by calling them and texting them and trying to force yourself into their life, your fear causes them to really resent you for not allowing them to be free. Now you might get blocked. Now you might get a text message, never contact me ever again. So a lot of times your fear is your own worst enemy. A lot of times when I talk to people, it's not that they don't have an opportunity with their ex. It's not that their ex never ever sends them a text message. The problem is you mismanage your no contact journey and you make too many unnecessary mistakes. Reason number 2 is you are focused on the wrong thing. I want to level set you, and if there's nothing else you take away from this video, I want you to take this away. The only reason your ex is gone, for the most part, is that they lost attraction for you. Those feelings of love, at least romantic love, are currently dissipated. They're not in the picture right now. But usually, if your ex is a kind person, if they're a normal, healthy individual, they might confuse you a little bit when they break up with you because they'll tell you a lot of other reasons. They'll tell you that, oh, I need to work on my career, or our schedules didn't work, and our family didn't get along well. They'll tell you all these things. The problem is if you forget to focus on the main thing, which is attraction, you start to do things that, again, make things worse because you're trying to solve problems that right now your ex does not care about. It's almost like going to the ER for an emergency because you have a heart attack and someone gives you a Tylenol. Maybe you like have a small cut on your arm and you get an infection, and now you have a fever or something like that, right? But the bottom line is you have a heart attack. That's the most important thing to be working on now. Some of the issues and some of the reasons that came up are things that maybe will be addressed if you fix things with your ex. But remember, if there's no attraction, there's no motivation. If there's no motivation, there's no point of talking about all of these other issues. Focusing on the wrong things leads to you taking actions, again, trying to solve problems that don't really matter, which push your ex further and further away. Reason number 3 is that you misunderstand or misapply the concept of time. There's one thing you have to understand in this no contact journey. Time is your friend. And a lot of people underestimate this. Remember, right now your ex's attraction is below 5, but over time, when you're scarce, when you're not chasing, you're not calling, you're not texting, a lot of times they will start to miss you. But when I talk to people, what happens is your own fear makes you feel like, well, it's been 2 weeks. It's been a month. If I don't do something now, I'm definitely going to lose her forever. I'm going to lose him forever. You and your ex are on 2 totally different journeys. You are starting from a low and your ex is starting from a high. So the more time that goes by, your ex is going to come down from that high over time. This is very natural of how human beings operate. Reason 1 is because over time we get used to things and then we get complacent. So before the breakup, your ex might have been thinking, oh, my life is going to be great without them. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to party. But a lot of times reality tends to disappoint them and they see that everything that they expected did not come to pass. And so over time, they kind of hit that wall and they slowly start to come back down. The grass isn't greener Okay, because why? The grass is green where you water the grass. So they start to think about you, they start to reflect on the breakup, and if you gave them the space, they start to miss you and then they take action. But again, people don't respect that, and they allow their own fears tell them, well, it's been 3 months, it's been 2 months, I need to do something. I was talking to a client one day, and the breakup was only 2 weeks, but he was going out of town. He was going on a business trip or something, and he was going to be gone for a month. And in his mind, well, I'm leaving next week. If I don't fix it now, if I don't do something now, it's going to be over forever. And a lot of times that's just not the case. Your mind is playing tricks on you. A lot of times, okay, maybe you go on that business trip and halfway through the trip, she reaches out to you. Time is on your side. You don't have to fix things today. Most people will not fix things in 1 day or 2 days or a week. So be comfortable with that. When you create an unnecessary level of urgency, you start to force things instead of allowing your ex to be and allowing them to come to you. Such a powerful distinction. Reason number 4 is that you are using logic versus understanding and leveraging emotion. I always say this, and I've said this in my videos, and I tell some of my clients this. You cannot logic your ex back into a relationship. Remember how I say your ex might have given you reasons for the breakup? Like, oh, we had long distance and I can't do it anymore. Some people get stuck on that statement and you say, oh, well, you know, we were in a relationship for 3 months. It never mattered. Oh, I'm a great partner. I'm the best person for you. I always cared about you. You're using logic when human beings are emotional creatures. The reality about human beings is that we make decisions out of emotions, and we use logic and reasons to justify those emotions. So I'll hear people say, for example, well, his family doesn't like me. And because his family doesn't like me, we have no chance. It'll never work. But if you understand this is an emotional thing, if you can attract him emotionally, if he's engaged in you and he falls back in love with you, all of a sudden he's the one that's going to take care of the family issue. But when you start with the logic and you start thinking, well, how can I win his family over? Well, his family is Muslim, and so I need to go convert my religion. Okay? I'm not saying values are not an issue. Values are a thing in politics and all that. I get it. But emotions always come first. And if your ex has the right feelings, if you can get them to fall back in love with you, they will come up with all the logical reasons why you should stay together. It's very interesting where 3 months ago they were saying it's done, will never work, and this and that. But if you can get them to fall in love emotionally by giving them space, and when they come back, you go on a date, you take things slowly, they will come up with all the logical reasons why you're the perfect person for them. It's very interesting. Remember that. Human beings make decisions out of emotion and use logic and reason to justify it. So next time you find yourself explaining concept to your ex, telling them about attachment styles, you're making a mistake. So if you have any thoughts, let me know. Go ahead and drop them down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the future videos that I put out. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, quickest way to do so is to click the link in the description. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.